This is Global Signals by Andrew Dremin, deep dives and insights about retail and FMCG. Recent retail headlines suggest a shifting tide in European supermarkets, claiming that national A brands are reclaiming the market share they lost to private labels. This chart from Nielsen IQ supports that narrative. In markets like Spain and Italy, national brands show value sales growth of 1.7 digits to lower the barrier to entry for shoppers. The scale of this spending is significant. Many manufacturers are offering discounts of 25 to 35% off the standard shelf price just to keep pace with price-sensitive consumers. Buying top-line volume through heavy discounts relies on a completely different set of economics than building organic, sustainable demand. The recent 0.3% drop in private label share is a minor fluctuation. For retailers, this is a sign of market stabilization, not a crisis. Between 2022 and 2025, years of double-digit food inflation forced millions of European households to shift their shopping habits toward lower-cost alternatives. Private labels achieved historic penetration during this period. Store brands captured over 50% of volume in Spain and roughly half of the market in the UK, while maintaining a baseline above 40% in Germany. A 0.3% dip represents a plateau after 3 years of rapid, consistent expansion across the continent. Shoppers who transitioned to store brands in 2022 found the quality comparable to A brands. This realization has led to high retention rates, as consumers integrated these products into their regular shopping baskets. Store brands have established a permanent baseline in European retail, creating a new competitive environment that manufacturers must navigate. Aggressive trade spending traps manufacturers in a cycle that destroys baseline volume over time. This begins with stage 1, the trigger. Deep price cuts and multi-buy offers drive impulse purchases, but they result in immediate margin compression as the cost of funding the deal outweighs the incremental profit. This leads to stage 2, the spike. It jumps sellout velocity, distorting demand forecasts. This volume comes from existing consumers pantry loading, not new shoppers switching. In stage 3, consumers wait. They postpone restocks, causing baseline sales to collapse between promotions. Finally, erosion. The brand loses its premium price justification. Its perceived value resets to the discounted level. While revenue lines may look healthy during the spikes, true profitability thins out once slotting fees and promotional allowances are deducted from the balance sheet. Constant high-low pricing teaches shoppers never to pay standard shelf prices, creating a discount addiction that hollows out the brand's equity. The competition between national brands and private labels now follows 2 distinct patterns based on the specific product category. Commodity categories are now the territory of private labels. These are defined by functional parity, where consumers see little difference between products and prioritize the lowest price. In categories like flour, toilet paper, and basic dairy, consumers refuse to pay a 40% premium for a logo. Private labels have locked down these segments. However, national brands can defend their position in emotional and sensory categories. Chocolates, premium coffee, and craft beers carry higher taste sensitivity and emotional trust. When an A brand discounts in a sensory category, it can successfully trigger an upgrade. In a commodity category, that same discount is simply a loss of margin. Volume conversion is ultimately governed by a single metric, the retail shelf price gap. When store brands maintain a price advantage of 30% or more, the value proposition is clear enough that they win the volume easily. This matrix shows the math. At a standard shelf price of €2.49 versus a store brand at €1.55, the gap is 60%. The shopper chooses the store brand. For an A brand to win, the gap must shrink below 15%. At that level, the absolute price difference is small enough that shoppers feel comfortable choosing the premium option. Standard supermarkets use unpredictable promotional calendars to occasionally hit this 15% window. Hard discounters like Aldi and Lidl use everyday low pricing to ensure their gap remains wide and their volume remains protected. Manufacturers cannot sustainably maintain a 15% gap through discounts alone. Competing purely on price against a retailer who owns the shelf is a losing strategy. To preserve their margins, FMCG manufacturers are shifting their promotional strategies toward long-term sustainability. The first rule is to stop blanket price cuts. Instead, brands are using volume mechanics like bonus packs, which protect the consumer's perception of the baseline unit price. Second, brands are redesigning their pack architecture, introducing entry-level trial sizes for price-sensitive shoppers and large family formats that remain competitive on a price-per-kilogram basis. Finally, manufacturers are exiting low-margin commodity lines where private label share exceeds 60%, rather than spending marketing funds to defend them. Those saved funds are being reallocated into R&D-driven product innovations that private labels cannot easily copy, focusing on high-margin growth. Retailers must manage their store brand portfolios with the same rigor as national brands, rather than viewing them simply as cheap alternatives. This involves protecting the entry-level floor by matching the prices of the cheapest hard discounters in the market. A robust strategy requires a tiered architecture: Tier 1 for economy price matching, Tier 2 to match A-brand quality at a discount, and Tier 3 for premium selections that outperform national brands on quality. Retailers are also monitoring promotional gaps in real time, adjusting their shelf placements to stop shoppers from trading up when national brands launch aggressive 30% off campaigns. This structured approach protects the retailer from the volume swings caused by manufacturer promotions. The current rise in national brand value mix is a temporary promotional cycle, not a shift in market structure. This initial data shows an artificial bump. It is a moment in time funded by deep discounts that the industry cannot maintain indefinitely. As management teams face pressure to restore stay where they have settled, buying quality private labels for their everyday staples and only reaching for A-brands when the price is lowered. You are watching Global Signals by Andrew Drummond, deep dives and insights about retail and FMCG.